I'd like to call the Tuesday, March 3rd, 2015 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Butler, would you please take the roll?
Florence. Mumgard. Gaines. Glover. Jaworski. Klug. Stubbe. Ingberg.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
That is correct.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. We've got a couple of presentations tonight. Mr. Joros with Black Hills Energy is with us, and he's on the board of the Sarpy County Economic Development Corporation. He's here to give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor, City Council, and staff. As Mayor Black said, my name is Kevin Jars, and I'm with Black Hills Energy, and I'm also on the board for the Sarpy County Economic Development. I'm here tonight just to give you a brief rundown of the fourth quarter report of 2014. You'll see on this slide it talks about the net taxable sales, and you can look at October, November 2014 versus 2013 October, November, and you can see the overall where we at that time. Actually, we don't have the numbers yet for December year end, but Toby Churchill, our director, said that they've actually increased and surpassed the 2013. This here is just basically the new retail startup services and businesses in Sarpy County, and I won't go through all of these, but there were quite a few in 2014. And some of these I know you recognize from in Papillion. The net taxable sales, you can see that in 2014, and this is through November, you can see at in millions 1.394, and you can see that this is just through November, and Toby indicated that this actually will surpass the 2013 record. So very good news there. Building permits, you can see the fourth quarter, December, where we stood, which was very good. You can see in Papillion at 27 million. And also here, building permit valuations in 2014, and you can see how good we did there. $546 million. Here's just some capital expenditures in Sarpy County, and I know it might be kind of hard to read, but you can see through here some of the major valuation projects in Sarpy County, in Papillion, and just the various cities that are in the county. And here's the top 10 projects in the county, and you can see here Papillion had the City of Papillion Public Works is on here, as well as the Carpenters Union Training Center and the Fairfield Inn. So 3 substantial projects in the top 10 right here in Papillion. And the assessed valuations, you can see was a record at $11,996,000. So very good there. This is some humor from Toby Churchill, for those of you who know. I think he's trying to say that building permits and building were up. You have to know Toby to understand this. Single-family housing permits, you can see in the fourth quarter, and versus the fourth quarter of 2013, in Papillion, you can see from 339 to 75. So that's a nice increase. Again, here's single housing permits issued. And actually the value there that's not shown is just right under 900, and it's just from the November time frame. Multi-housing permits you can see here in the third quarter, or 2013 fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter of 2014. Just quite a bit of a difference there in Papillion alone. And multi-housing permits issued again in 2014, just right under 500. Single housing permits issued, and these are the platted lots, and you can see, it might be a little hard to see, but the dark green platted lots is a little lower than it was in 2013, but you can see the permits that were issued are very close to the same in 2013. And the labor statistics, you can see in the county, our unemployment rate is pretty low overall, so that's a good sign. Inquiries by major category. These are inquiries that the Economic Development Corporations receives. They could be in the state, they could be out of state, and you can see by category that in 2014, manufacturing and research and development, there was 15. Service type companies, there were 11, and the warehouse and distribution were 5. And it's pretty amazing that the number is the same as it was in 2013. And I guess that is it. Is any questions for me?
Big, any questions? I think just education, because we broadcast this, and some people may not be aware with SARPI EDC, so just more of a reminder of what it is, because we are a member of it. For those that aren't aware, the greater Omaha metro area, when you're sitting down in Florida and thinking of Omaha, it's just a big dot on the map. Well, that dot covers, is it 5 counties?
Yes.
Including Pottawatomie County in Iowa. So that dot covers 2 states and 5 counties. And at that point, there's the Greater Omaha Partnership is the lead agency for economic development, and their goal is just to recruit businesses and corporations and site selections to the big dot. At that point, they don't care who gets it, what jurisdiction gets it, they just want to get it into the area. Once we're identified and we're into an active conversation and they start understanding where in the metro it would be appropriate that that business might go, then there are county-specific economic development corporations that make up that partnership. And so in this case, if it deems it appropriate that, hey, this belongs best in Sarpy County, then Sarpy EDC then begins to take the lead role. And we have a board seat on that. Kevin has a board seat on that. And then once they start identifying where in Sarpy would be the best site, then if it's in our jurisdiction, then we step in and start taking a lead role. And so it ends up being a very good way to cross jurisdictions, break down those barriers, and just get economic development into the region, and we all win, and then hopefully it lands here. But that's Sarpy EDC and what Kevin's representing, so thanks for the partnership.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you to Black Hills Energy for being a great partner with Papillion as well.
Thank you.
Mr. McClannon, we have an update on CALEA. For those that are not aware, we were CALEA certified for the first time 3 years ago, I believe, and we're in the midst now of our first reaccreditation. And so I think you're here to give us an update.
I am. Just to bring everybody back up to speed on what CALEA is and what it does for us and what they can expect in the next couple of weeks. If you have this handout, I'll start on the side that's got the triangle on the front. CALEA stands for the Commission on the Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. Basically, it's a 3-year accreditation cycle. Every 3 years, they come in and inspect what's going on. There's a bunch of bullet points there. What they essentially explain is that CALEA helps ensure that we have cutting-edge professional policies in our department, and that we are using the best policies that are going to protect us, that are going to create great risk management for us. That's what the chart below that as well shows. On the left, it shows 12 areas that the League Association of Risk Management has found to be the most likely to bring up lawsuits against a police department or create problems for them. And on the right side, you can see where the CALEA standards are addressing those issues. In some cases, entire chapters of standards that are addressing those issues. LARM and CALEA are not connected in any way. This is just a chart to kind of show how CALEA is protecting us in those areas. If you flip over to the other side, and at your leisure later, you can go back and read the details here. Our CALEA on-site inspection is going to be March 16th through the 19th, which is a Monday through a Thursday. It'll involve we'll have 2 assessors coming into town. They'll be coming into our facility, looking through our files, which are online now. They've been able to look at some of those files from afar. They're going to look at some of them while they're here. They're going to inspect our facility. They'll probably come out to City Hall. They'll probably visit HR. They'll stop out at the 911 center and check out the jail as well. The 2 pictures here in the center are the assessors that are coming to check us out. We have Police Chief Mike Yanero. He's the current chief of Jacksonville Police Department, Jacksonville, North Carolina. And he has been an assessor for 20 years. He knows his stuff. He and I have been in communication so far, and I can already tell he's going to be a stickler. A good guy to look over our stuff and help us make sure we've got all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. And our second assessor, we get 2, is Lieutenant Paul McCurtain. He's retired from Elgin, Illinois PD. He's also someone that brings a life of experience from law enforcement and a lot of CALEA experience as well to the table. So I think they're both going to help us out a lot. The bottom has the agenda for what's going to be happening during that week. The only 2 points that may be of areas where you might be able to help us out are the ones that are highlighted. There's going to be a call-in session. If you're not able to come to the public information session, which is the second one, the public information session is an opportunity to come in person and say anything you have to say on behalf of the police department to the assessors. That'll be the same opportunity for anybody in the community that has a beef that they want to come and make sure the assessors know about. That'll be the opportunity for them to do that as well. We're inviting all kinds of community members to come and share on our behalf if they feel the need to. If you want to do that and you're not able to come in person, the call-in session is the other area where you can do that between 2 and 4 o'clock on Tuesday. That'll be the night of the city council meeting, or the day of the city council meeting. And the phone number's there. If you call that phone number during that period of time, an assessor will pick up the phone and talk to you. So if you have any questions, I am always down at the police department, ready to answer any questions you have about that. And I can stay after as well. And I'd be happy to answer any that you might have right now as well.
Anybody have any questions about CALEA? As long as we're on that topic, Chief, people are not aware, Chief Scott Lyons, first official city council meeting. And you actually come from a CALEA agency and you were involved with this. So one, maybe just if you've got any comments, but more just since I've turned it over to you a little bit, you just want to take a few minutes to give a little introduction again of yourself. I mean, the council has heard it, but we got residents in the audience and we do televise these and people do watch it. So you just want to give a little bit of your background and then maybe just wrap up with a CALEA comment.
Okay. Scott Lyons, Chief of Police. I've been a police officer for coming up on almost 25 years this coming June. And I've been at 2 agencies, Raytown, Missouri for 5 years, and then 19 years with Lee Summit, Missouri. And yes, we were a CALEA agency, and it really helped us raise our agency to the next level. And it's one of the reasons I was drawn to Papillion was the police department and the efforts that were made in CALEA, and I'm really looking forward to getting in there and learning more about where we're at. And I know that Kurt has done a great job, and I know that him by reputation, and he's done an outstanding job filling in that position. And I know it's very stressful right now, but he looks very calm, and I don't see a bead of sweat on him. So.
Well, thank you, Scott.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Hoynes, administrative report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I would also add to Chief Lyons' comments that he had mentioned that Kurt had stepped up. The individual that actually led this through CALEA, former Sergeant Kevin Covey, resigned to go into the private sector just at the first of the year. And so Kurt was on patrol a few weeks ago, and now he's staring down the eyes of CALEA inspectors and files. And he had some background in at the beginning, but went from night shift patrol. So thank you, Kurt, on behalf of Mayor and Council for stepping up, filling that. It speaks well to the entire organization that we can lose somebody at that key position and just a couple of months later. I know that I asked early on, do we need to ask for a delay? And said, no, we got it. So I'm depending on you, and so are all of we, so appreciate that. One other brief introduction, Council, we have with us tonight, if you haven't had a chance to meet Matt Cover, I'll just ask Matt to raise his hand. Matt's the interim director at the library. He's attending with us tonight, so if you haven't ever met Matt, you can put a face with a name there and welcome him to our council meetings here. And it's been a great assistance to, I know, Chris in the last few weeks in the transitional issues. Project specific, Mayor and council members, I did provide you a brief here recently of the Slide the City potential, and I bring that up publicly because not everybody may know it, but it is a partnership. The first thing I need to say is understand that Slide the City is a private entity. They operate, they own, they take responsibility, they insure. Now, we mutually recruited them when we saw the opportunity. In fact, I think I mentioned Tammy from the rec department a few months ago came up with the idea and made contact. They just this week have officially applied for a permit, and that permit is going through legal and engineering review as we speak, and we'll process that through. But they tentatively have the date set for, I think it's a Saturday, right? Saturday, August 1st. From the public slide will be from noon to 5 that particular day. And so we feel good about the direction, but Carla and Jeff always remind me about something called details, and my eyes roll back. But I feel confident about that, bringing that unique experience to Papillion, and we're working hard to do that. Wanted to update you too also, Council, last fall when you approved the budget, we identified multiple park projects throughout, and that those projects were contingent upon funding through the Keno process. Well, Keno's doing very well, by the way. Feel good about that, but Tony and I sat down and offered to the mayor and Steve Ingberg actually some projects that we would be bringing up to you for bid. So the splash pad at Eagle Hills is completely funded, ready to go. I think soon. They're going to start soon, Jeff, on that. Yeah, as soon as weather, that's all teed up and ready to go, and that'll be finished certainly this year. The other project that we were trying to get done by Papillion Days is enhanced lighting, effectively an extension of the plaza into the city park with the baluster lighting and some of the other lighting. We'll be sending that project up soon. But then the next one that we're trying to work on to get up to bid for you is the Veterans Park. The flat work that's sitting there, you'll see some well, it may not look like an improvement initially. We've got to move some of that other equipment out to pour that flat work that's sitting in there. But Jeff is just teeing that project up in the design phase, and we're trying to get that done this year also. And again, all of these projects, and there were a handful of others, all contingent on the amount of Keno funding that we get. But wanted to let you know that we really prioritized certainly the splash pad, finishing that, the city park, and then the Veterans Park, and hopefully we can get some more in, but that's the direction we're going. A couple of final things, Mayor. March 11th, the fire department is doing a house burn at 302 East 6th Street. It's one of those 4 houses that the Catholic Church purchased a few weeks ago. So if you see something burning, that's actually, a controlled burn. And conclude, Mr. Mayor, 2 weeks from tonight, if you notice, the art gallery it changes occasionally, and I think when we opened a couple of years ago, we had a little open house with the Arts Council. Brian Hansen, chief building official, who's not sure how he ended up being an art curator and assisting, but he's doing a really good job, and has asked if he could host a little open house for the council and the public at 6 o'clock before the next council meeting. So if you want to come in a little early, meet the Arts Council members, talk a little bit with them. The next council meeting at 6 p.m., you'll have the opportunity to do that. Stop up and say hi to those folks who are doing some good work. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Jaworski, second by Councilman Klug. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item E1, Ordinance 1711, an ordinance approving the issuance of building bonds, Public Works Project, Series 2015 of the City of Papillion Municipal Facilities Corporation in a stated principal amount not to exceed $3,500,000, approving and authorizing a bond purchase agreement with the corporation, providing for the sale of the bonds to the underwriter, authorizing a First Amendment to the lease purchase agreement with the City of Papillion Municipal Facilities Corporation relating to the construction of certain public works facilities, approving the execution of the documents with respect to the said First Amendment to the lease purchase agreement, and provide for the publishing of this ordinance in a pamphlet form. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Bruce Leffler is here to answer any questions, but do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? I'll close the public hearing. Staff is recommending a waiver of the third reading of this ordinance. That does require a supermajority. That is very typical of what we do on bond issuances, so we can go ahead and get to market and not worry about what's going on with the rate environment on bonds. So with that, is there a motion to waive the third reading for ordinance 1711? Motion by Councilman Ingberg, second by Councilman Jaworski, and this does take a supermajority, but are there proponents? Are there any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote, and again, this takes a supermajority.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. So next, do we have a motion to approve ordinance 1711? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second by Councilman Florence. Any council discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Leffler. You're going to get us a really good interest rate, right? Thank you. Next is item E2, ordinance 1712, an ordinance to approve the change of zone of certain real property within the zoning jurisdiction of the City of Papillion, Sarpy County, Nebraska. Legally described as part of Lot 2, Sarpy County Industrial Park, Replat 1, generally located south of the intersection of 126th Street and Giles Road, from Agricultural AG to Limited Industrial LI, to amend the official zoning map of the City of Papillion by changing the zoning district boundaries of the zoning map in accordance with Section 20532 of the Papillion Municipal Code, and to provide for an effective date. This is a public hearing, and I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any proponents? Yes. And if you'd state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Matt Hubel, civil engineer with the Semmer Associates, here representing the applicant. Just wanted to come up here and make sure that you knew I was here to answer any questions you might have.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Do we have any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? Go ahead and close the public hearing. Thank you. Item F1, Ordinance 1710, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Papillion, Nebraska, to amend the City of Papillion, Nebraska Police Pension Plan and Trust, to authorize further actions and to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and the effective date hereof. Is there a motion to approve Ordinance 1710? Motion by Councilman Stubbe. Second by Councilman Gaines. Any council discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item F2, Resolution R150037, a public hearing and a vote. A resolution to approve a Class I liquor license for Chipotle Mexican Grill, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill number 2440, located at 9820 South 71st Plaza, and a manager application for Timothy Peterson. I'll open the public hearing. Do we have proponents? And I believe the applicant's here as well. And if you'd state your name for the record.
Good evening. Robert Futhi, Fraser Stryker Law Firm, on behalf of the applicant. I have with me Tim Peterson. Just real quick, this is our ninth location in Nebraska, First and Papillion. Chipotle operates about 1,600 locations nationally, and we're happy to be here. If you have any questions for Mr. Peterson, turn it over to him.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Do we have any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R150037? Motion by Councilman Ingberg, second by Councilwoman Klug. Any council discussion or questions for the applicant? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you and welcome.
We got a question too. We open on March 12th.
March 12th?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's all the regular agenda items. No committees have met. Do we have any comments from the floor? I see we've got a couple of scouts with us. Do you guys want to come up to the podium and introduce yourself? Let us know your name and the troop you're with, and if you're working on a merit badge, maybe which one that is.
Okay, I'm Matthew Koenig. I am from Troop 60, and I am working on the Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge.
And 60 is the American Legion?
Yes.
Okay, Welcome.
I am Owen Sumter. I'm also from Troop 60, and I'm working on the communications badge.
Wonderful. Thank you. And if you guys have any questions or need to talk about to any of us for any other requirements, a few of us will hang around after the meeting. So welcome and thanks for doing that. Do we have any other comments from the floor? Any council comments? Just a couple of updates from the last couple of weeks. Several of us attended the ribbon cutting at CBS Home Real Estate. That's the new building there on 370 at Shadow Lake. That'll be nice to have that office building on the corridor, because it's a lot of what we start seeing is trying to recruit daytime employment, so that fits right into that. Also attended Sarpy County Economic Development Corporation's annual meeting. Attended the Nebraska Municipalities Midwinter Conference. A lot of what we talked about were legislative items. And then had a United Cities meeting yesterday, and again, just mainly got legislative updates. So on that point, this is a long session. They're in committee hearings now. So if there's any bills of interest that you want to make sure we're following or taking a position on, let Dan or I know, and then we can bring that up with the United Cities as well. Also, thank you to everybody for attending the swearing in last night for Chief Lyons and Deputy Chief Whitted. I bet we probably had 350 people there, probably. And again, thank you to the council for all of your roles in selecting the chief. Talked about how historic that is for Papillion. So again, thank you for everything you've done on that. And I think it was a nice showing. Probably had 20 people drive up from Kansas City region, didn't we? That was a nice statement. Also, we've had several meetings with the county and engineering in regards to some sewer issues and growth within Sarpy County and how that may or may not affect our future planning. And we'll probably have some meetings in relation to that. We do have a closed session tonight. Before we go into it, just because we do have some scouts and some other folks, want to explain to them a little bit. Very rarely will a city council go behind closed doors. Everything we do is out in the open discussion and open votes. But every once in a while, the state law allows us to go behind closed doors and have a discussion. And the items are, if we're ever negotiating in regards to real estate, we can go behind closed doors because you don't want the other side to know what your strategy is. If we are ever in a lawsuit for the same reason, we can go talk strategy behind closed doors. Or if it's to protect the interest of an individual like a human resources action, we can go behind closed doors. When we go behind closed doors, though, we take no votes. We can just discuss items. If we're ever voting, we come back out here into the public and vote. We have to be very specific who goes behind the closed doors and what the topic is. And once we're back there, if somebody's in there that they're not supposed to, or we're talking about something we're not supposed to, it's actually a misdemeanor and a crime. So it's a very serious action for going behind closed doors. So that's what we're going to be doing. We do have a closed session. So is there a motion to go into closed session to protect the public interest to discuss union negotiations for IAFF, PCA, and FOP? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilwoman Klug. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes, and I will restate for the record, the purpose of the closed session is only to discuss union negotiations for IAFF, PCA, and FOP. The closed session will include the mayor, the city council, city administrator, assistant city administrator, city attorney, staff attorney, the city clerk, the public works director, the fire chief, the police chief, and the human resources manager. And we will be back out later.